transition states are facing very serious challenges when it comes to debt distress. For example, as of 30th of April 2024, out of the 38 African countries for which debt sustainability assessment data are available, 13 countries are rated to be at the high risk of debt distress, and 6 out of them are already in debt distress. A majority of these countries are from the transition states. Transition states are in very serious need because of the fact that they're in a state of fragility. So because of their condition, some of the issues, some of the things we see in terms of statistics, growth, security issues, illicit financial flows, and several other challenges are actually affecting these countries in terms of their ability to sustain growth, to be able to sustain development. So for these reasons, these countries bear the highest burden when it comes to issues of debt burden and also debt distress. So for this reason, the bank feels therefore that there is need to provide a focused support for these countries, tailored approach to ensure that this group of countries that are bearing this highest burden of debt in Africa are provided the support that is required to help them to get out of this situation and be able to manage their debt effectively. One of the greatest challenges we have seen based on the analysis assessments we have done in the countries is that the transition states have a lot of challenges when it comes to capacity. Capacities are weak in terms of individual, organizational, and institutional. So what we have done over this past 2 days, therefore, is to see to what extent can we support these countries in building this capacity that we have noticed are weak. We have undertaken some diagnostic assessments of these countries, and we have seen some recurring factors that tend to weaken and make them to be in that state of transition or fragility, as some people call it. So what we have done over these past 3 days, especially the first 2 days, is to focus on this group of countries and say, what type of technical assistance do they need? What type of training do they require? What type of peer learning support can we give them that will help them to be able to improve on the situation that they have currently? So the purpose is to convene all these countries, bring them together in one room, and be able to brainstorm with regard to the challenges. First of all, identify the root causes of the challenge and then think about solutions. And as you do know, most of the problems, we know them very well, but the question is what and where would the solution come from? So what we have done over the past days is to talk about the problems, talk about the solutions from different perspectives of the countries. And as you know, the different countries have different approach that they have been using. And we have seen situations where some countries are managing those resources relatively better, and while others are not doing so better. So through this platform of bringing them together, we're able to support, they are really able to support each other, to peer learn, to see lessons, what works in other constituencies and what does not work in some places, and then think introspectively with respect to the nature and type of the economies and think of how they can adapt some of these solutions to the peculiar needs of their countries. The African Debt Managers Initiative Network, which for short we call ADMIN, is really important because it serves as a homegrown solution from Africa, among Africans, to help them to deal with the debt management challenges most of the countries are facing. What we have seen, like I alluded to earlier, is among the debt managers across African countries, we have some that are highly developed in terms of they have a debt management office that are well set up, that are well structured. Then we have some others that are just starting to set up. Some have not even started at all. And some who do, the structure are not able to align with the emerging challenges that these countries are facing. So what we have done through this platform is to bring all of these debt managers together so that they can understand the common challenges they face and, of course, the differentiated challenges that they face. And so through this network, we have this forum where there is a peer learning among them, where we can know what works in country A and what is not working in country B, and how can they ensure that they align themselves with some of these challenges they're facing and then adapt them for their individual use. So from the discussions we've had so far, we have heard from different managers across African countries. Some are here physically, others are joining online. They have been able to come up with specific challenges they're facing, and from there we have been able to decipher what are the key solutions. And of course, with the technical experts that we have here, we have heard a lot of perspectives in terms of what countries need to do. We have heard about how they can structure and set up the front office, the middle office, and the back office of a debt management office, how they can deepen and develop their local capital markets. And the point about developing and ensuring that they have better local debt market is very imperative because of exchange rate risks. You know, most currencies in African countries, they depreciate a lot over the past few years. And if you contract a loan in a foreign currency, once your currency depreciates, the value of that loan increases by the percentage depreciation of your currency, which makes the cost of your loan to be even higher. So what we're doing, therefore, is to think about what are the solutions we could have to have local debt markets that will free the countries from these exchange rate risks. And from there, countries will be able to have local debt in their local currencies that will not expose them to any risks of exchange rate risks, rather, and then assist them to be able to produce and make the best use of the debt that they contract. Again, the mantra of the bank when it comes to loans and debts by countries is make debt work for Africa. And that is the purpose of this gathering.